What is up, folks? Welcome to the latest episode of the Harold McBasketball Show. I am your gracious host, as always, Harold McBasketball, along with my co-host, I know Ball Paul. We are back, second episode in like 2 weeks, so we're cooking now. Back to the regularly scheduled program somewhat. Paul, how are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, the last podcast also did pretty good numbers, so I guess that's motivating to get back into the swing. Yeah, I've been thinking, I keep going back into my little system and I keep changing opinions on certain guys. But I think I'm just gonna let it rest and see how the takes go. With a little caveat, I think Maluak, I've just all of a sudden started feeling very hot on Maluak.
Revision. We're doing a revision of the last episode
I'm
already.
not gonna put him in a certain space, but I would bump him up a few, and then I'm not gonna get into who I'd move and what. But I just all of a sudden I'm like Maluak, I think is or Maluash. I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah, we'll figure that out at some point. We'll wait for preseason for that.
Could be insane. I think he could be the best center in this class. Might bump him over Yang, but that's not what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss power rankings or kind of our standings, what we expect the standings to be this year in the league.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, so we're kind of projecting out what we think the final standings are gonna look like by the end of the season. I mean, obviously there's a lot that can still happen before then. So this is kind of our initial vibes, so just how we think the Eastern Conference is gonna shake out going into next season. The East is a natural place to start. It's kind of in flux right now. It feels like everybody tore their Achilles here. So a lot of the best teams are all of a sudden out of the picture. Complete shakeup. It feels like this is the most wide open any conference has been like, I don't know, at least since we've started podcasting, probably way longer than that. So this would be really interesting. This probably be like, I don't know, one of our best episodes goes as far as like, our preseason power rankings goes, because I feel like there's a lot of different directions we can go in. Like usually at least the first couple of teams are rock solid, but this year it could be anybody. So do you want to kick things off, Paul? Like who do you have number one? We probably have different number one seeds, which is insane.
I think we for sure have different number one seeds. Um, yeah, like you said, it is crazy. And kind of just at the top, I want to say that I didn't go super hard after going extreme try hard with the draft analysis. I kind of took a step back. I kind of procrastinated making my list, and so I was kind of working through it today anyway. I'm not dying on this hill, and Harry and I have decided that we're willing to influence each other or change things on the spot, kind of talk things out.
Yeah, do not hold us to our seating here. We may be influenced to change things, especially as we get to the end of this. Like it definitely the East, like the the depth of like good teams like falls off like really quickly. So there are a lot of teams that it's like even the teams around like the seventh and eighth seed, I'm like, God, these teams could all finish like 13th. So we're gonna do our best here. We're gonna have fun with it, but like who really knows with the East at this point? So I don't know. Who do you got, Paul? Who's number one?
The Hawks.
Go
Caw,
crazy.
caw.
Convince me. What you got? What you got cooking?
Just like the roster, I feel like is stacked. I mean, you have Trey Young at point guard. Again, okay, we've said the East is wide open, and I think this is their big opportunity to seize it. And they made huge off-season moves in acquiring, obviously, Kristaps Porzingis. But Nickeil Alexander-Walker is like an excellent move, just like a perfect pairing next to Trey Young to always kind of have that defensive kind of counter to Trey Young, which we saw with Dyson, which worked pretty well. Jalen Johnson, if he's healthy, I'm like so convinced this kid is like generational is tossed around way too much. He is not generational, but I think he's like he's going to be a multiple time All-Star. Like I'm very in on Jalen Johnson as a player. And so I think this could very likely be, the year he takes that leap and we see him crack the All-Star team. Reese Shea, love my boy Reese Shea. Eurobasket has kicked off and he's looked pretty nice so far for Team France. And I think he had a really understated rookie year in just terms of like how well he played for, I think he probably only got 20-ish minutes and he was productive. And You kind of know what you're getting with him, despite him being super young. Okongwu took that big leap, you know.
Capella finally gone. Okongwu can finally play full minutes, thank God.
Yeah, I mean, Kristaps is there, so it'll be interesting to see how they pair those two. But,
Fair.
Kristaps is kind of there for maybe 50 games max. So Kongu will have plenty of runtime, I think. Luke Kennard, I think, was like a sneaky ad too. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize they signed him. But so all in all,
More more shooting, yeah.
great starting lineup. I think they have some nice bench pieces. I think they're just going to come in hungry and just knowing that the East is wide open. I get that there's still some big dogs. There's still the Cavs, the Knicks. We'll talk about them, but honestly, on paper, I think they have the best roster.
I I think it's a fun take. I think it's a great thumbnail for the podcast. I also have the Hawks really high. I don't have them. I don't have them one, but something we harped on a lot last year is just like the Knicks roster building was awesome. Whereas like they essentially just had this like do it all unstoppable point guard, surrounded him with essentially just like three wings. They were like shooting guard, small forward, power forward. They're like, we don't care. We're just gonna put like three small forwards out there. They can play any position. And they'll have this like floor stretching big center in Cat. And I feel like the Hawks just like completely copied the formula. They're like, okay, we're gonna have this like pretty bad defensive point guard, but like unstoppable on offense. Surround him with just like three like really switchable, really dynamic wings, and then just have this like floor stretching like offensive stud at center when he plays in KP. And I think it's like a really interesting, awesome rotation with like, some potential upside compared to the Knicks, where it's like KP does bring some more offensive, not offensive, offensive, they're very capable and similar, but like defensively, like KP is way better. Like KP, like actually can play defense, like really good rim protector. They also have Okongwu coming off the bench potentially, or also starting with KP. We'll see on that one, but it's an interesting team. It's a very similar build with like this like really really incredible talented offensive point guard, really good defense around him, really good shooting too. Just like KP, Risa Shea, as you mentioned, Jalen Johnson, he's like incredible at everything. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good team. I think it's gonna be awesome. I think it's definitely like that like higher tier of teams in like the Eastern Conference, where it's like I don't know if they'll be like the top seed just because I imagine like Porzingis is gonna miss a bunch of time, and that will
Yeah.
probably make it like a little difficult for them to claim that, even though they do have like nice depth at the big man position. But I do think once the playoffs start, they can essentially beat anybody. Like in the East this year is what I would say. Like there's no juggernauts this year. Like the Celtics are kind of knocked out of it right now. So if they're going up against like the other good teams, which would be like Cavs and Knicks left right now, like the Hawks could totally win those matchups.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a good point. They're very comparable to the Knicks. Okongwu kind of has a bit of Hartenstein in him with the
Yeah.
passing, the defense. Um, Obviously he's no longer with the Knicks, but uh yeah, just even comparing those two teams, it's like, okay, yeah, Jalen Johnson, I would probably take him over Trey Young, but like Jalen Johnson, give me him over anybody else on the Knicks. Um, and Okongwu, Chris, I mean, Cat's awesome. But yeah, I think the key here is Jalen Johnson and just how
It's
hot I am on
it's
him.
yeah, it's like it's a super interesting guy off. I love good guy off where like who's better, like Brunson
Right,
or Trae Young here. It's like I don't really know. Like that's like pretty close. And like next best guys would be like Jalen Johnson versus like Cat. Different positions, but like second
right.
players on the teams. It's like that's also like pretty close. As of now, it's probably like edge to Cat, but like who knows with Johnson, as you said, like rising star there. We don't know how good he'll be. And then it's like next best there is like KP versus it's probably arguable here. I would say it's probably like Bridges third best. So it's like Bridges and Iron Man. But guy offs are super fun and like it's definitely like an interesting guy off between like the Knicks and the Hawks. It's like I think it's a bit of a coin flip. We'll kind of get to like where I have the Knicks, but regardless, it's kind of to say that like the Hawks are in that top tier and they're going to be really good next season.
Yeah, and it is just kind of a fun take I want to be a part of, but I think their roster holds up, and it's just a lot of guys that I also love Dyson Daniels, and kind of you know his impact, and again I think Alexander Walker was an amazing signing, so yeah, yeah, go Hawks.
Yeah. And Nikhil's also a good shadow, just like another just like really good defender. And like pretty big too. He's also somebody who's like I know he's technically like point guard, shooting guard, but he's like, I don't know, 6'4", like pretty long. Like he's also somebody who kind of guard like 1 through 4. So
Totally,
it's
yeah.
gonna be super switchable. Dyson Daniels, like, you know, what are his DPOY odds next year? Like he's insane. He averaged like almost like 3 steals a game last season. Like the defense is gonna be awesome. The shooting is gonna be awesome. And that seems to be the meta right now. So they're gonna be great. I think these top three teams are like fairly interchangeable. And I think health will be a big factor. So I think the Hawks are the fun pick, and I like that one.
I think I know who you would have number one.
I went pretty boring here. I just went with the
Yeah,
Cavs
that's
because I was like the Cavs. I was like because we saw it. They were like incredible last year. They had it wasn't really even like a competition, even though the Celtics were like definitely a better team. But the Cavs, they just play every game. Their guys play back to backs, super deep. It feels like they've got just like four guys who are at least like fringe all stars. Where it's like Mitchell, superstar, Garland, all star caliber, Mobley, all star, Allen would be an all-star probably on a different team, but he's the fourth guy on this roster, which is really nice. And they just have like some decent guys. Like Strus is a good shooter. Like I kind of like the DeAndre Hunter pickup, even though he didn't do a ton for them last year. It's just a good team. They're gonna play all the games. So the defense is gonna be good. Garland, I like remain like super bullish on. Like I know he's like really good and is like all-star caliber. I think he'd be even better than that. I love Garland. This could be like one of his best seasons ever that we're approaching right now. So I do just like the Cavs, and I think they'll probably be first seed again. It's kind of the boring take though. They were first seed last year, so it's like probably gonna happen unless there's an injury or just if the Knicks and Hawks kind of stay healthy enough to compete for that spot.
yeah. It is the boring take, but I think it's the right take because I think they are regular season juggernauts. And then there's
But
kind
yeah,
of
playoffs no, but like regular season yes.
yeah, there's kind of that conversation where we saw how easily exploited they were with kind of the two guards there and what the Pacers did to them. But as far as the regular season, yeah, they're just they've kept that core, and that core, like you mentioned, is pretty insane with the reigning Defensive Player of the Year Mobley, Jarrett Allen being an insane rim protector.
Yeah,
And
we were early on Mobley too because I remember 2 years ago we were like Mobley should be depoy. He's awesome. We were early on that take.
that might have been like one of our first podcasts, I think, I want to say.
Yeah, we cooked. We cooked. Everyone go back and watch the episode. Go find it. Let us know in the comments which one it is. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. Yeah,
Before we were on video, I think it was just like really shitty
oh
mic
yeah,
quality.
maybe. I forgot about this. This probably aren't even on YouTube. Yeah, we probably don't need to like belabor the Cavs that much just because they're 1 seed last year. So good chance they'll do it again. I haven't looked at the Vegas odds. I didn't want the Vegas odds to skew my rankings here. If I had to bet, they're probably number one in Vegas odds. Did you have them number two? Did you have them two behind the
I had
Hawks?
them number two. Lonzo Ball, interesting signing. We'll see if that amounts to anything, but
Oh yeah.
that's
I mean, bare minimum, it's at least really good for the locker room. Everyone says that he's just phenomenal for the locker room, which is, and like I get it. Like I see his like TikToks and stuff. I'm like, this guy is the man. So we'll see. It's like obviously it's like his knees kind of like limit how much he can actually like play as far as like stretches at a time. But like he's still good. He's still an awesome passer, big, like done great vibe signing.
yeah. And we saw kind of last year that there was some hope that there was well, he played. So, if he takes another step in the right direction, we might see, you know, some more consistency, and he's an amazing defender, so he could be an interesting answer to the small guards problem, but we'll see. He's a big question mark with his injury history.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Let's see. At two, I had this is my other boring pick, Knicks. Obviously, the Knicks were like really good in the playoffs last year. Very complete roster. I've already talked about their roster and why I like it. I think really just like the big question mark going into the season is like they did fire Tibbs, so we are now going into the new season with like a new coach, and everyone loved the firing. Everyone was like, "Yep, get Tibbs out of here. He overplays these guys." Tibbs is like a high floor, low ceiling kind of coach. Maybe that's true. I thought he did a pretty good job last year. I think it's like a little bit of a gamble to assume that the new coach coming in is going to, be able to like replicate the success the Knicks had last year. But with that said, roster's still really good. East is still wide open. They're awesome last year. They looked awesome in the regular season, awesome in the playoffs. Safe pick, 2 seed. That's kind of all I have to say on it.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add. I mean, I feel like part of their downfall, and I think it was much bigger than that, but was the fact that th their bench was non-existent in the Pacers series, and people kind of pointed to the fact that Tibbs just doesn't play his bench much. And I think, as much as I think Mike Brown might try to get more of a bench unit going, I think there still is kind of a lack of talent outside of their top five. And the Yabu signing I love.
Yep, for sure. Of course.
McBride exists, but I don't know if I can name anyone else on that roster. I might have to look it up, but
Yeah.
I think they are pretty shallow. Uh,
Yeah. In hindsight, it feels like they should have kept Quentin Grimes. That one feels like pretty bad in hindsight. But
uh, yeah, he came from the Mavericks though before.
true, true. So he's very like long removed.
Yeah, he's
Um, but still, yeah, it's an interesting thing. I feel like the depth was definitely part of the issue with that team last year. So it's like I don't know. Mike Brown's so interesting though. I can't believe like the Kings got rid of him. He was like coach of the year like what like 2 or 3 years ago. So
yeah,
I will say like that is like a fairly good pickup for the Knicks. I definitely don't think I think he's a good coach. So I don't think it's to slow them down too much. So I think 2 seed is still fair, and this is still a nice roster.
for sure. Yeah, no, I have them third. Um,
Right, because like you have Hawks, Cavs, Knicks. I feel like that's that top tier. Did you have anybody else in that top tier?
I did have one other team in that top tier.
Interesting. I feel like that's the tier break for me. I feel like there's a tier after that now, but is it? I would bet it's the Magic. I feel like that's the only other team that belongs, right?
It is the Magic. Um,
All right, go off, Cook.
Fuck. All right, let me.
Why do you think they deserve to be in the same tier as Cavs, Knicks, Hawks, and not in their own like secondary tier beneath that?
Because Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. I think that's that's it, man. Both suffered unfortunate injuries last year, and but each in their own respect had insane stretches of the season. And I just think both of these guys are yeah, just insanely talented. And I think the Desmond Bain signing is also just an excellent addition. They kind of still don't have the point guard piece, but I think Desmond Bain does help in a lot of ways. The
Yeah,
shooting,
and they'll use Suggs there, and like he's not like a true point guard, but like nice
right?
defense. Like he'll play there, so like that's something.
And it feels like they just have like enough of the passing from, Paolo and Franz. They have that part of their game. But Desmond Bain is an underrated passer. Jalen Suggs, is a guard. So they kind of, I love it when everyone passes a bit and there's not like this one designated playmaker. I think that's kind of the modern NBA. And so I think those three is I love that trio. I'm very hot on them. I would have been tempted to put them higher, but I think it's very hard to justify over the other three. They still have the center weirdness going on,
I cannot believe that Wendell Carter Jr. is still their starting center.
and it
That's
feels
just
like
like
it's been
insane.
years that
It
they just haven't
it
had.
has. They've legitimately had him for like probably 6 or 7 years at center.
But yeah, just it feels like they haven't had like a legitimate center or like any change, or I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, they still have Moritz Wagner, Franz's brother. They have
Right,
Goga,
right.
who had a nice stretch, but like we know kind of what his limits are, I think. So that yeah, that's just kind of a weird thing that they haven't really figured out.
Yeah, yeah. I think the Magic are fair to put it four because it's like although I think their ceiling is they get into that tier, but I think it's super contingent upon like what do we get at Apollo? Because like we saw last year, like Apollo obviously is amazing, very much like all-star caliber player. But I'm like, how high does he get right now? Because like right now, I'm like, yeah, I'd put like Paulo probably in like the same tier as like Jalen Brown right now. He's like fringe like top 20. For like the Magic to like really break into that next year, I'm like, he's got to kind of hit that like top 10-ish range, which is certainly possible for him. He's huge. He's awesome. He does it all. Number one overall pick. Like this is somebody whose upside is being a top 10 player. So the question is like, does he get there this season? Does he get to that level at some point? And that's kind of why I have them like tentatively at four because I'm like potentially they could go higher if Paulo just has this like insane like world beating season. Don't know if it's gonna happen. It could happen, but I'm not sure. So I've got them at four. But I do think it's a nice team. I think like yeah, I think like Suggs and Bane is like a pretty like interesting backcourt. They gave a lot for Bane. Like that would be like pretty interesting, like long term. Because I like Bane, but I'm like, how good is Bane actually? He is like a little bit of like a fringe all-star guy where I'm like, if your big three is like Paulo, Franz, Bane, it's like how good can you be? And kind of the question is like, okay, let's see what happens with like Paulo and Franz. Because if like Paulo goes superstar, Franz is an all-star every single year, Bane can be that fringe all-star. But like if Franz is also like fringe all-star and Paulo's like only every year all-star, then all of a sudden they might cap out around this like 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah, I'd say I think I am kind of more on the optimistic side where I think Franz and Paolo are just all-star locks from this point forward. And I think Bane is like a better third option than most other really quality teams could ask for. But there are still some depth questions. They still have just a bunch of young guys that we don't know what to make of them.
Yeah.
Your Jet
Some that feel
Howards,
like,
your
yeah, I was gonna say
Anthony
some that feel like not
Blacks.
great at this point. Like the Anthony Black thing's like not looking awesome right now.
Right. Tristan da
Um,
Silva had some interesting moments, but it's like
they
he's a
they just love
23-year-old.
they love drafting bad shooters, and it's like except for Jet. Like I know Jet's a good shooter, but like the Anthony Black one is like God. It's like if he could just make a 3-pointer, like things are different here.
But they did draft Jace Richardson, and he's also someone that I was kind of having a second look at, and I'm like, this guy is good. He's undersized, but he had an insanely efficient collegiate career. And like, I don't know, he was still like picked like 20th or something. So I don't know what the odds are that things are going to work out for him, but
Yeah, yeah. Regardless of yeah, so we both have Magic 4. You're a little more optimistic. They move up. I feel like this is kind of their range right now until I see otherwise. But regardless, both at 4. Feel like we might have the same team at 5 also. Do
I
you
doubt it.
have
I doubt it.
Oh. All right, who do you have then? Who do you have then?
No, you go, you go.
I have the Pistons. Who do you have?
I figured you'd have the Pistons.
Yeah.
I have another kind of insane
All
one.
right, I'll talk Pistons. I've loved the Pistons for like a while now, and I was pretty like pretty keen on like over projecting the Pistons for a couple of years until last year where I was like, all right, I'm gonna relax. Like I'll have them like play in. Last year they were finally good, so I'm like I'm back in on them. I think they were 6 last year. I think 5 is appropriate this year. Essentially, just keeping them the same spot, knowing that Celtics drop down, Pistons go up a seed here, and I just like them. It's like I think essentially like they've got this like really awesome like defensive team. Like Asar is like awesome. Duran's like pretty interesting. He misses assignments sometimes, but like he's still fun there. Cade is obviously incredible, super big. They get Ivy back. I'm like really interested to see how Ivy is. He's like Ivy's a prospect who I liked. He's just like this super fast, kind of like Walmart John Wall kind of guy without the passing. But I know like it's John Wall is why I said Walmart. But I think he's interesting, so I'm curious to kind of see how he slots in next to Cade now that he's like a little bit older. Removed of that injury now. And I think they're a fun team. I think Cage is like incredible. He's just one of the best point guards in the league. So they didn't make like a ton of changes to their roster, but they're a young team where I think like just Cade gets a little bit better this year. Asar is somebody a lot of people are eyeballing for a big leap potentially this season, hoping he kind of follows in the footsteps of Amen Thompson. And then I think Ivy's pretty interesting. Duran's interesting. So I think they're at least as good as last year, but I think they probably get a little bit better.
And yeah, that I think that's a fair way to look at it. And the trend has been going upwards, and Cade more and more just looks like such a polished, just superstar level player. Um, I don't know. I have questions about their depth and kind of the pieces around him, but I think he is just such a great leader, and I think he establishes the identity of his team through his play style, and it works really well, and they've embraced the toughness. I've always really liked Jalen Duren, and kind of he shows flashes, but at times kind of is a bit underwhelming. Yeah, so especially I think defensively, but
Yeah.
still super young, still shows flashes, rebounding, kind of the passing has a lot of upside. So, but yeah, I just have questions like Asar Thompson. Weirdly, like he is the identical twin of Amen Thompson, but I think personality wise, they are not the same. Amen is this like fiery, fucking like way too competitive, aggressive guy, and Asar is kind of the more reserved, like chill twin. So I don't know if it's fair to expect him to take those leaps. Um,
Yeah, I'm not expecting it, but like, the hope is out there.
and hey, I mean the athleticism is there. They have the same genetics, literally.
Yeah. We saw it in 2K. They both have the two highest athletic ratings in the game. So
Yeah. They replaced Malik Beasley, who weirdly was acquitted, right? Or he's just
yeah,
like,
that was such an oddity. It was like, yeah, it's like he essentially like was accused of essentially betting on himself back in like 2023. There's this huge investigation. Everyone just assumes he's guilty. Essentially guilty before,
he has,
any trial or anything. No one wants to sign him to a contract. Everybody's out of cap space now. And he gets acquitted. They're like, oh, yeah, yeah, sorry. No, yeah, this was no problem the whole time. But he's essentially been screwed now, where it's like his entire reputation has been ruined, and nobody has enough cap space to actually give him a contract that he's worthy of. He came in second place for six man of the year last year. Like he would be awesome for this Pistons team. He'd be awesome for any team right now. Um, but yeah, he really got screwed over like badly. Like
yeah.
I think he would have like a legitimate case to like have a lawsuit against some like the betting companies if he wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, yeah, who would be liable, like who investigated him, or who brought those.
It's weird that it's like I think technically the government does the investigations, but I think the data comes from the betting companies. So the betting companies would have been like, oh, we had like weird betting behavior on like Michael Beasley,
Mm.
like we need you guys to investigate it. And then like the government would be like, okay, we'll investigate it. And then once that's out there that the government's investigating a player, all of a sudden like all the teams pull out. They're like, this guy's definitely guilty.
Yeah, and some of his history kind of came up. I don't even know the
Super weird history where he's just like apparently he's just in like a ton of debt. He got like evicted from his apartment. Like I don't know
right.
how his financials are so out of control. And like honestly, it's like it's a little like beyond me on the podcast. Like it's beyond my expertise, but
Yeah,
like
and this is all
really,
we
really
don't.
bad situation. Like it just sucks. Sucks. I feel so bad for the guy.
This is just what we read. We don't know any of this for sure. Malik could be a very financially responsible player, but either way, they replaced him with Duncan Robinson, who is very similar in terms of, what he offers, and it'll, I think, be kind of a seamless replacement.
I think for regular season, yeah. I mean, obviously he gets played off the floor in the playoffs. Like he won't touch the hardwood in the playoffs, but like,
Malik Beasley
yeah.
was pretty awful in the playoffs too.
For sure, which is yeah, you're right. This is like seamless. This is
So,
perfect. And I think the Pistons are another team where it's like just the only thing to know with them is they're young and they're going to play every game. And I think because of that, it's
right.
like they're a very easy team to pencil in at five because they're just not going to lose games from sitting their guys. So I have them in at five, but I don't think that means they're the fifth best team in the East. I just think they're
Mhm.
going to win the fifth most games.
Yeah, that is a good thing to point out because the line is a bit blurred between power rankings and standings. Sometimes
For sure.
even I know we're doing the standings, but I am very influenced by just how I feel about the team. But yeah, it's just kind of their depth where it's like Isaiah Stewart, okay,
Be Stew.
beef stew, like, fine player. He's an NBA player, but then there, Ron Holland, Paul Reed, Marcus Sasser, they're kind of these players that are like, I don't really
I mean, like you can shit on their depth, but like looking at the teams that are coming next, I'm like, this doesn't get better. We're like the East is a mess.
think
Like
it's
all
a
the teams that come next also have horrible depth.
well, the team I have fifth, I think has really good depth.
Okay, okay. Who do you have? Who do you have?
The Raptors.
Jesus, Paul.
What am I
We're
missing
supposed
here?
to be a credible source.
What am I missing? What am I missing?
Funny enough, I also moved the Raptors like up my list a good bit, not that far. Um, but like Cook, because I actually also really like the Raptors this
I
year.
mean, you have Emmanuel Quickly, who, okay, whatever, the overpaid, a great defensive point guard, super athletic, like just a good starting point guard, right? RJ Barrett, your guy, can play the shooting guard. He's a lengthy, again, good defender, like perfect starting shooting guard.
Not a good defender.
No, he's not.
No.
Okay.
But like he does have the size for it,
That's the
yeah.
size. He's like 6'5", 6'6". Um, yeah, RJ Barrett really is kind of like
Such an
just a
enigma. Such an
fascinating.
enigma. He should be so good.
Yeah. But even like his college stats, I don't want to keep going back to the college thing, but like I did, just looking at his college stats from the last video and stuff, like just the most inefficient college player, but just like just averaging like insane numbers as like a super young rookie. Just really weird stats, like shooting 60% from the free throw line, 30% from three, but then averaging like 20 points as like an 18-year-old at Duke. But that was just a weird season, like you pointed out. It was a lot of
Yeah,
hot.
totally, totally. Yeah, but like, yeah, I love Barrett. I could talk about Barrett all day. Continue though. Keep talking about the
Yeah,
Raptors.
Barrett, then Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, and Pirtle. You have that's like all those guys are huge, switchable. Like that's I don't know. That's a good starting lineup. And I get that there's like the chemistry concerns, but whatever. Like that's a good five. And then it's like off the bench, Grady Dick, Colin Murray Boyles, who I think is going to be
Yeah,
kind of a high floor rookie. And then there's O'Shea Abaji. There's maybe another player that I'm forgetting, Sheeds or something, who's okay. I don't
yeah. I
know.
don't know.
But I don't know. I'm like, damn, that's a good, decent starting five. Damn it.
They're they're starting five. Like funny enough is like if you're just like looking at teams where it's like there's no holes in their starting five as far as like names go. It's like yeah, they're like one of like the few teams. Like the only other teams are like kind of like flawless looking starting fives are like them, Cavs, Knicks, Hawks. Like that's pretty much it. Like everyone else, you can kind of like poke a hole in the starting five. For them, it is funny. It does feel like all of these players are like they're all like 82 or better in 2K essentially is like the way to put it. Like everybody's good. Like almost like all of them are better than role players. Kind of like my notes where I was like this team is hilarious. Like the starting five like looks awesome. The defense is gonna be terrible. I was like, now I had the question that like quickly Barrett, Ingram, Barnes, Pirtle can be like an absolutely electric starting five. But I was like, it's a super expensive team for only having one fringe all-star. And I think that's probably ultimately what holds them back is like not that they're all just like chaotic shot chuckers that don't know how to play offense, but it's also like they've got a lot of like good low end talent, but like not a lot of good high end talent. Because even like Scotty Barnes feels like somebody who's like, yeah, like maybe he's an all-star. We'll kind of like see this year. And it's like Ingram's like fringe all-star, but like, he's only been an all-star once, I think. Barrett never been an all-star. IQ like super overpaid. Like what's crazy is like this is like the sixth most expensive team in the league. Like they're gonna be like going into the luxury tax for the squad, which I think is awesome. I think it's so funny. They are gonna be like one of my preferred teams for watching on League Pass. It's kind of like you said, it's like the roster like is awesome. Like everybody who touches the ball, like I want to see them dribble. I want to see them shoot. Like it's gonna be super fun. And there's a world where this like works and clicks because like they are all good. I just don't think this is gonna click. I did like move them up a little bit because at first I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna put them like 12. Like they've just always sucked. And I was like, yeah, I was like, you know what? I'll put them like fringe play, and I put them at like 9. I think I'm gonna leave them there. It's like I could very easily be persuaded to put them higher just because I love this
Where do you
team.
have them? Where do you have them?
9.
Oh, wow.
I, I've
Okay.
got them like yeah, I've got them right in the play in there. Um, and like we're kind of at the point where it's like yeah, things get like a little bit wild here in the East. But yeah, it's like if everything clicks, like yeah, this team like could go up to 5. I'm more so betting that like it's not going to click, but maybe not be as disastrous as like some people expect. Because I think I imagine a lot of people probably think like closer to like the 12th seed. I bet that's probably where like the Vegas odds has them.
Yeah. In terms of tiers, I kind of put them in the Pistons, the Bucks. Um,
This is a great take, though. I love this take. I
yeah,
like
I
this
mean,
better than
come
the
on.
Hawks take. This is my favorite take of the pod.
And you're right that like there aren't many system players. There aren't many guys that are willing to sacrifice, I think, and maybe just sit in the corner, but they
I
are huge and switchable and
Yeah, they're all just like below average league shooters. So I'm like, does anybody here like shoot an average field goal percentage? Definitely not. Maybe Pirtle does. Pirtle's probably above average, but I think
yeah.
everybody else probably is like 40% from the field though. One of like the most underrated storylines of the offseason was just that they fired who was their GM? Like the guy who like
Uh,
everyone was clamoring for after the Raptors won the championship with Kawhi.
yeah. I forget his
Um,
name.
um, Goes to show though like how irrelevant he has now become. But like they literally fired him this offseason because the owner was like, "What have you done to our roster? Like this is such a nightmare." But on paper, I like it. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a really fun roster. I'm excited to watch them. Like I said, I just don't know how good they're gonna be.
Because
But
like
there's an awesome take though.
the 3-point
Cannot deny it's
shooting is
awesome.
they're it's funny because they're like all I think average or maybe even slightly above average 3-point shooters. but probably below average just field goal
For
percentage,
sure.
which
For
is kind of an
sure.
interesting thing. And
But
Barrett,
it's like it's a little Celticsy though, you know?
yeah.
Celtics weren't great finishers.
But Ingram is like
They
the
also have two
classic case of
superstars.
it's like, please, bro, just take threes. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm gonna take a step back, pump fake, fake.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's funny is like there are like a lot of guys who I believed in on here like big time. Like I could have swore that like Ingram and Barrett were both gonna be absolute superstars in this league. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I'm like, how many years have they been in the league now? I'm like, I'm not like selling my shares, like believe me, I'll still draft them in fantasy if they're there for me. But like I think I'm over trying to like shoehorn them into like superstar status. It's like our Barrett I still have shares for. Barrett I think could be an all-star at some point, but I
That's
think Ingram I'm
he's got to
selling.
be like 26 now.
Yeah, it
Uh,
can still happen. This is his year.
I think you'll have to send me a new link, but
Yeah, we'll part two this. That was a great take though.
be right back.
All right, back for part two. Paul just talked about his affinity for the Raptors. That might have to be the thumbnail for this video.
Yeah.
And also a take
Raptor.
I love. I'm kind of like going down my list now, and I'm like, fuck, they could be better than this team.
Yeah, I mean, man, they win the guy off. They win the guy off.
They always win the guy off. That's like the thing that's getting me right now. I'm like, they totally win the guy off. Like, because like, and like, we'll kind of get into it in a second, but I'm like, next I have like the Celtics at six, and I'm like, they're starting like Neemias Queta at center, and I'm like, there's a problem for the guy off. Like the Celtics lose the guy off. They have the top end talent, but they lose the guy off. So I don't know. It's interesting. I love the Raptors pick. I do think they're such a wild card going into this year.
And yeah, man, if things click, I think they could be as high as four or five. And yeah, because they're huge, they're switchable. And I love Grady Dick.
Grady
Uh,
Dick's awesome. Yeah, phenomenal shooter. Yeah, no, he's awesome.
maybe the
So
most charismatic NBA player.
yeah, great
Check him out
name
on
too.
TikTok. He can do a backflip,
Ooh,
and he's like 6'8".
yeah, he should do that in a game. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Anyway, that's my piece on the Raptors. But yeah, you.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, as I kind of said, I've got the Celtics at six,
So
which is like was like a tiny bit of like a homer pick, but it's also one of those things where it's like, okay, like Celtics, like obviously a rebuilding year for them. Like they're not really pushing for anything. They're not gonna be great this year, but I'm like there's still a lot of chemistry here and there's still a lot of good players here. So it's like they still have like Jalen Brown, who is a superstar and is probably gonna have an unreal season. Like he's probably gonna average like 30 points per game. He's gonna be
Mhm.
ridiculous. As long as he stays healthy, he'll probably be like all NBA first team. Um, Pritchard's going to start at point guard, which is nice. I was worried that Simons was going to start, but no, Pritchard's going to start. Pritchard's going to be really good. He was six man of the year last year. Obviously, he was incredible. Um, he was insane in the games he started. I wish I had those stats, but like he's a super good starting point guard when he gets the opportunity. So I think he's going to provide like a lot of nice offense for us there. And then yeah, from there it's like Derek White is still there. Derek White's awesome. Like he was a fringe all-star last year. With more touches, that'll probably be the case again. The front court is like kind of where the wheels fall off this thing for sure. Because like one through three, like that looks good. I mean, like it's like four, I guess, is like Hauser or something, which is like not terrible. Like that's fine. He can shoot. That works. Um,
He's
then
not really
center.
a four though. Like he's
No, that's gonna hurt on defense. I don't know how we'll totally do that.
like,
Um,
yeah, I guess you could
I
go
don't I don't
Brandon
know who else
Hauser.
I don't know who else would play there. And
Yeah.
then like obviously it's like Kata at center who like might give us enough on the defensive end. Like he's been insane in the G League for the last couple of years. So like maybe that means something, but like in all likelihood, he'll probably struggle at that end. But it's kind of a bet on like the top end talent and just like the coaching staff. Like Missoula's been a good coach. The Celtics have been good for a while. They're always a playoff team. These guys are winners. So I think they can still get the sixth seed here. I think they'll kind of be like fringe playing, but I think they'll get out of it. I think they can get the sixth seed. I feel like that feels fair. Um, even without Tatum, and obviously they lost Drew and KP, and Horford's a free agent and effectively gone already. So, four important players gone, but I think they'll still be okay. And maybe Simons will be okay too. Maybe Simons will be a good six man.
Yeah. I don't have them as high as six. I have the Pistons after.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense.
the Celtics do fall for eight. They fall to eight for me.
I
Uh,
think it's fair.
but we'll talk about the team in between. But yeah, like you said, the front court is like really an issue. I think Josh Minot is an interesting name. I like, I don't think he's even maybe a starting caliber player yet, but at least he's kind of the prototypical forward that we can kind of have kind of a similar Jason Tatum Brown kind of 3-4 situation with. But then yeah, other than that, it's like Hauser
Luka
is too
Garza.
small, and then yeah, Luka Garza.
The Garza breakout is finally here.
It could be very interesting if they somehow find a way to just make him a four. Like we just go,
Yeah, there's no way, but he's so slow. But I would love it. I'd love for him to figure out how to play the five. I'm like, come on, like he's he was so awesome in college, and like I see him in those empty gyms. He looks awesome. He can shoot. He's just so slow. Um, but I don't know.
I think,
I'm
I
still,
think,
I'm still, I'm holding out hope though. He's got a chance. I mean, like the center
yeah,
position's so non-existent for the Celtics this year. That's like it's not out of the question that he at least gets minutes for the team. He probably will get minutes.
yeah, he
He'll
will,
probably
he
get he'll probably,
will.
he'll probably get the backup center minutes.
I think he'll be a solid part of the rotation, and
Yeah,
the advanced stats maybe aren't going to love him in some respects, but I think he's going to impress Celtics fans with
yeah.
how deep his bag is. Like Luka Garza is uh, a showman. He's a great rebounder. Like I don't know.
Showman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, those. Um,
It's gonna be missing Cornet a little bit. Forgot to mention that the Celtics also lost Cornet. They lost a lot. But yeah, I think like the 6 to 8 range, effectively saying like
yeah,
they're probably around like the upper end of the play-in. Um, that feels accurate. So, and there's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna feel like, 10 years ago when they were running around with like Isaiah Thomas and stuff, where it was like we were just hyped to be you know, in the playoffs. So it's
right.
gonna be fun to kind of take a year off. Like it's kind of stress free. It's not like championship or bust this year. It's kind of just if we're good, that's fun. If we're bad, even better. We get a pick. So we'll see.
We signed Chris Boucher.
Oh, oh, Boucher was a nice addition. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Uh, that's also kind of like an interesting one because he's someone like for Toronto. Certain games that he would play, at least like in fantasy, would be just like he'd been an absolute like stat stuffer, where it's like he'd be hitting threes, you get like 4 blocks, he'd just be this like really like skinny and nimble stretch three. But he's like a little bit like a bull where it's like I don't like know if he knows what he's doing out there. Sometimes like
Oh,
it's a total mixed bag. And probably like he's probably worse than Bull too. Because Bull was actually kind of nice during some stretches last year.
guess how
Uh,
old Chris Boucher is?
27.
No, he's 32,
Damn, he's 32 now.
going on 33
That's
soon.
crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's older than I thought.
Yeah. There's probably also washed now, which is
A
like
little bit,
it
especially
means
with
these things are getting
his,
worse.
yeah, his build. I think at that age is usually when they fizzle out a bit. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, he's the Chris Stapps kind of equivalent. Chris
Yeah.
Boucher,
Sure.
Luka Garza front court is going to be insane. They'll balance each other out really
Twin
well.
Towers out there. Yeah, it's gonna be incredible. Essentially doing what Cleveland's doing. All right, who do you have a seven? Who do you have seven? That's no Celtics talk. We'll talk about them plenty in the regular season.
I have the Bucks at 7.
Me too. I also have the Bucks at seven. I was
Uh,
like, yeah, as like horrible as this team is, I think probably the worst 1 through 3. Um, I can only put Giannis like so far down. I was like, they still have Giannis, so I was like, as long as Giannis is healthy, I'm like, I'll put them here.
yeah, and kind of looking at the roster, I wasn't as disgusted as I thought.
Oh, I was, I was so
Um,
by it.
the point guard position is really, really tough with Kevin Porter Jr. and Cole Anthony. I do like Cole Anthony, but
For me, it's like I'm like there might be something there with KPJ. I mean, like I know he's like a questionable figure at best, um, but I
right.
don't know. He had one good year for Houston. I'm like maybe there's something there.
Okay,
Uh,
well, so there you go.
regardless, like I'm not like banking on it though. I'm not banking on this guy being awesome for them. Like
But then, like, you got Gary Trent, Amir Coffey,
sucks,
Kuzma.
sucks, sucks.
Those are fine NBA wings, I think.
I don't know if they are.
I don't know, Gary Trent, Amir Coffey, I like them. Good
Sure.
shooters and tall and can defend. Like that's better than Pat Connaughton.
Yeah, yeah, it is better than Pat Connaughton. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think
Uh,
it's fine. The Kuzma experiment was like really rough last year, but like
very, very.
he probably is better than like how he performed last year because like, he was like pretty good in the Wizards before then. Um, he's going to be like a little bit of a mystery box going into this year for them, but I feel like it can't be worse. But yeah, continue. And then obviously like front court's awesome. You know, Giannis, Turner, that's pretty interesting.
Right. And yeah, that's not much to say there. I mean, I think Miles Turner is like Brooke Lopez like 5 years ago.
Yeah, perfect replacement. Too
Perfect
bad he's
replacement.
costing like $50 million a year effectively, like with the
Yeah.
the stretched Lillard money. It's really interesting. It's like they'll essentially have like one of like the best interior defenses in the league with Turner and Giannis, and one of like the worst perimeter defenses in the league with KPJ, Trent, and Kuzma. So I don't know what that's gonna make them for. It might make them like a mid-tier defense.
The
Maybe
Cavs
make
get
them a
away
bad
with
defense,
it.
and maybe it's a good defense. Yeah, right. Like maybe it's enough. So yeah, they'll be interesting. And like we're talking about the seventh seed here, so like I think that's appropriate. Um, that is interesting. The Turner signing is fascinating. That is a good signing. It just was really expensive for them, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, Brooke Lopez worked so well next to Giannis for a long time, and I think towards the end they were like really pushing Lopez. And I mean,
Yeah.
I just didn't think he was worth the amount of minutes he would get for just like being a good spot up shooter. Like he was
Yeah,
so
it was
slow.
yeah, it was a bit of a desperation play towards the end for the Bucks to play him as much as they did. It was they just didn't have anything else. Like clearly that's what this move is, where it's like we loved like what we were getting out of Brooke Lopez, but we need to get it, out of somebody younger who can go a bit longer.
And Bobby Portis is still on the team.
Yeah.
I like Bobby Portis, but yeah, he's kind of like Kuzma, where he's a bit of a wild card, and he's going to kind of do his own thing. But he's better than Kuzma, I would say.
And still somebody that you want coming off the bench for sure. He's also coming off the like PED suspension too, which is like I always like betting on people coming off PED suspensions because I'm like that means they're kind of like roided up for like at least a couple of months there. Like that is going to help them, you know. So I was like I kind of like that bet. He might be a little bit better.
I forget the details of that, but I think it might have been like the most accidental, just
They
like,
they always say that. That's bullshit. There's
really?
no chance. There's no. They always say they're like, oh yeah, my this like yeah, this team doctor like accidentally prescribed me the wrong drug. It's like you think these like team doctors who are like working for like multi-million-dollar, multi-billion-dollar clubs are like messing up the drugs they're giving you? No, it's not happening.
Yeah, it's like getting prescribed Tren or whatever.
Yeah, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, okay. So, yeah, the Bucks again. I kind of put them in the tier with the Pistons and the Raptors. I think the Celtics are maybe below that tier, as much as it pains me to say.
Yeah, weirdly to me, I'm like Celtics Bucks are just like in the one of their best players toward their Achilles tier, and I'm like, it's kind of where they are. I think you might be right that at least like the Bucks are at least going to try harder than the Celtics. Like the Celtics are like pretty open about, yeah, this isn't their year. The Bucks are kind of the opposite. They're like, we know that we had one of our best players tear their Achilles, but we're going to pivot and still try to be good. So you're right that they very well could be higher than the Celtics, but to me, it all kind of feels like the same tier of like you're probably not gonna be that good this year.
Yeah, I think I could. Yeah, I think that's fair to say, and I think I could throw the Pacers even in that tier.
Yeah.
Um, but
Although
like,
they really might not be trying to win this year.
yeah, maybe not. But yeah, it's true that I'd say the Pistons and Raptors maybe I guess would be their own separate tier, and then maybe yeah, Bucks, Celtics, Pacers are the Achilles tear tier.
Yeah. Anyway, we're nitpicking here. I think this is only I think it's only the second seed that we had the same. I think we both had Knicks 2, and then we both had Bucks 7. I think that was kind of it, but we're on the same page with that.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean close enough. I mean, I kind of
yeah.
went wild with the Hawks, but I had the Cavs too. I
Maybe it's just the Bucks then. Who cares? Who do you have for 8?
the Celtics.
Okay, so it's 8 Celtics are 8. I guess I'll do my 8 then. I had the Heat here just because like this is more of a vibes thing. I'm like I feel like this is where the Heat live now, and I feel like they've lived in this seed for the last like 5 or 6 years,
Hmm.
and I think it'll just happen again. I know it's like they don't have Butler anymore. It seems like they're in like a bit of a mini rebuild right now for sure, but I don't know. The Heat are always the 8th seed. They have Spoelstra. He's an awesome coach. Hero's really good. He's like a fringe all-star guy. He'll like probably be an all-star this year. Was he an all-star last year? I think he was. Maybe not, but he was at least close. They got Powell, which was like an interesting signing, just like a little more offense to replace what they lose with Butler. Obviously not like quite the same, but it's something. And then Bam is awesome. Ware was like really good. It's like Ware I'm pretty interested in to see if he gets a little bit better this season. And I think they'll be good enough. I think they'll be good enough for the eighth seed. It's not saying a whole lot in the East this year, but like I just think they're good enough for that spot.
Yeah, fair enough. Davion Mitchell ended up being kind of a fun piece. He's
Yeah.
yeah,
Baylor legend.
no, but I mean, like, hey, starting five, Davion Mitchell, Hero, Powell, Wiggins, Bam. Where is there kind of already getting kind of the lazy allegations? I think Spoelstra made a comment saying like
That
maybe,
was always this thing though. Yeah. Like, because even going into the draft, right? That was the accusation they didn't want to like try to get rebounds and things like that.
yeah. But yeah, we saw a stretch of how talented he is. But yeah, if he's maybe not willing to do the dirty work, that's too bad. Jaime had kind of a sophomore slump, but I think we have faith that he's a decent player, maybe.
I think he is what it is. I think he's fine. I think he can come
Jokic,
off the bench. I think he can give you like 15 minutes a game. Anything more than that, you're asking a lot out of him.
right. Uh, Jovic, another kind of young player that kind of gets this weird hype and like, yeah,
So slow. People just like his name. They like the sounds Eastern European. Like good shooter. Then like he sometimes looks like he looked awesome in summer league last year.
yeah, and he's like
That's really all there is to report on him though. Really didn't do
6'10"
anything for
and
them last year.
fluid. He's still young,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. And then you got Terry Rozier, who just inexplicably
Yeah.
had
Also somebody who
such.
had like the gambling allegations and it kind of messed things up a little bit. Yeah. But then also like their rookie, we like their rookie, Jokic. Maybe there's something there. Maybe he
I
ends up being
forgot about
awesome.
Yakupchuk.
I don't
Yeah,
I don't think he's gonna be like an immediate impact guy for them, but like I think it's interesting. It'd be cool if he could like take Davion Mitchell's minutes a little bit. Because like Davion Mitchell is like a nice defensive point guard, but like you don't want him playing like 30 minutes a game. So we'll kind of see. I feel like one of these young guys kind of has to hit, whether it's like Ware, Jokic, unlikely, but like maybe it's like Hawkes or Jovic. Um, the Heat draft well though. I think one of them will hit and help them out a little bit here.
hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Norm Powell was a cool signing, how they got
Yeah.
him for practically nothing. So I do have them 10th, but yeah, like I think I could be convinced to move them up a bit. Um, if you're ready to transition to the Pacers, I feel like you have this opinion that they're just not going to try and they're kind of a wash. And I'm
Yeah. Yeah. And at this point, we're talking playing anyway. So it's like clearly no one's too hot on them going into this year. But like, yeah, give me your take on the Pacers. How you feeling about them?
no, I guess unlike you, I didn't think enough about kind of the mindset of the team. I was
Mm,
kind of just analyzing the rosters, and I think that maybe you're right with. But I'm like, okay, Nemhard, Mathurin, Neesmith, Obi, Siakam. These are guys I like. These are guys that
yeah.
we call them work lunch pail guys. They're just quality NBA players that play super hard. I like Isaiah Jackson. He was injured last year, but he was someone I was talking about heading into the season, saying, "Oh, keep an eye on this guy." Um, Ben Shepherd had some good moments in the playoffs. Jay Huff, I don't know what to make of, but he likes to reverse dunk it. So
Mm.
I was
The
like,
advanced stats love J Huff. His per 36 is insane.
yeah,
His per 36, he's the same player as Miles Turner. It's like a one for one transition.
he's just, yeah, one of those players that just lights up the stats sheet in like 15 minutes or like 10 minutes. Um, but yeah, no, it's just like an interesting, fun team. And it's like nothing is in Obi's way this year. It'll be interesting if him and Siakam start and seeing how that could work. Um, I just at this point I'm not convinced Obi's going to be some great starting caliber player, but I choose to just like him as a player and think he still has a bit more potential to realize. Matherin's also a guy I really like, so
Yeah. Yeah, I feel similarly where I think their young guys are really interesting, and I'm excited to see who steps up because I think like one of their young guys is going to easily average like 22 points per game, and like it
I
could
think
be
it's
Nembhard.
Matherin.
Like he looks awesome. I was gonna say it could also be Nembhard. I think a lot of them will take jumps. Like I think Neesmith will look really good out there, as he always has. But expanded roles for all of these guys. So I think it's gonna be fun, and I think these young guys are gonna look good. I think they'll still be scrappy. I think they'll still be like their usual. Um, I just don't think they're gonna try. That's really my issue. Is like I like the roster, and I think if they try, then like
But
they could be a little bit higher. They could get into the play-in, but like I think they're really gonna like take advantage of like resting Siakam a lot. Slash, like if he gets hurt, like they'll be like, all right, Siakam, like you could be out for 2 weeks. We'll hold you out for 2 months. Um, the Huff thing is interesting, where they essentially just like let Miles Turner go, and they're like, we're not going to sign another center. We'll take Huff for like $2 million. Huff is probably going to play a lot. He's probably not going to be as good as his per 36 insinuates. He'll probably struggle big time. I think there's gonna be like a big hole at the center position for them. And I think they want that. I think they intentionally are like, we don't want to have a center. We essentially want to give our young guys like all of this run this season, but effectively lose games by not having a center. So I kind of feel like that's what they're doing. That might be like a little tinfoil hat of me, but I think they're like intentionally shooting the roster in the foot a little bit this season. And I think it's fine because it's a year off. Halliburton's hurt this year, so take the year off, try to get a draft pick.
I think no, I think that's the logical thinking that I appreciate you always bringing. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of simple. Like Siakam is early 30s. Like let's not play him 80 games in a season that we have no chance of making a playoff push. So,
Yeah,
and there's a great opportunity to just kind of let Nembhard and Mathurin and Neesmith just go out there and have fun. I think Mathurin is going to explode scoring wise with nobody reeling him in. So it'll be a fun season at least. But
for sure.
I
They're
think you're
definitely league
right
best
that
team.
the coaching staff and the front office are not going to be pushing too hard, and especially yeah, Siakam I think is going to be reeled back a bit.
Yeah, that was it. But anyway, like we're kind of like towards that like end of play in anyway. So it's like you had them nine. This is where I had the Raptors at the Raptors nine, kind of like end of play in. Who do you have 10? We're definitely getting to the point now where I'm like, okay, like officially, like all the teams from here on out, I expect to be like pretty bad this year. Maybe that's even an understatement.
Well, I think
You know,
you haven't said the Bucks, have you?
I said no. We agreed with Bucks at 7. So I had Bucks 7, Heat 8, Raptors 9.
Okay. And Pacers, where do you have them?
Pacers are 11. So I do have another team at 10.
Okay. I've my 10 are I had Bucks 7, Celtics 8, Pacers 9, Heat 10.
Heat are 10. Okay, my 10 that we can talk about now is the Sixers, and I'm like, I feel pretty gross about it. I think about when I initially did this, I had them at like 13. And I was like, and I kind of like did some Googling, and I was like, oh, Joel Embiid might play this year. And I was like, oh, probably won't though. Probably only play like
No
25%.
way.
And I was like, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, if Joel Embiid doesn't play, this team's like 14. I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, he might play some of the games though. I'm like, maybe he plays enough to get them to 10. I really didn't know what to do with the Sixers. This might be too high for them, but I was like, I don't know. Like Maxi's still pretty good. Like Paul George probably also is going to play many games. Like that hurts too. Like I do like their young guys. Because and I know you don't love like Edgecombe, but like maybe there's something there. The rookie they had last year was like the steal of the draft until he got hurt.
Jared
What was his name?
McCain.
You love that guy. Yeah,
Jared
McCain. Like
McCain.
McCain was really good. So all of a sudden they have like, I still think like McCain and Maxey could be like pretty fun together, even if Embiid and PG are out for the entire season. And like things are pretty bleak from here on out. So it's not like I'm saying a whole lot about them, but I'm like, it's like I think like McCain and Maxey could kind of keep the wheels on this thing, and then if a miracle strikes and we get 40 games out of Joel Embiid, it's like yeah, like that's probably enough for them to get the 10th seed. But I also don't know what version of Joel we're getting. I don't really know. That whole Joel situation is quite sad at this point now. Because like there was a time like as like Celtics fans we were like, yeah, fuck the 76ers, like, always rooting on their downfall. And now they're like it's here, you know, it's a little sad.
It's a little sad. That article that came out
That article
boosts
was
the narrative
so I
so
felt
hard.
so bad. I was like, damn, like I guess we are all assholes.
I still yeah, I mean I have empathy for Joel Embiid, but I don't know if I don't know. I don't want to say like something like mean or stupid. Like I don't know the guy, but like personality wise, I'm always like I don't think I would like this guy. I don't know. That seems maybe a little outlandish to say. I don't know. I'm just like the article didn't make me feel like super.
I think the bad sports word that people like using and like very very rarely is this word used because it is like brutal to use in sports, but like soft is a word that I've heard, which maybe how it comes across a little bit. I do feel the guy. I mean, like it sucks to like be as good as he was and just like deal with all these injuries and essentially this insane fall from grace where it felt like the Sixers and Celtics were like gearing up for this like decade long battle between Embiid and Tatum, and now it's like it's already over for Embiid. Hopefully, with the Celtics, they're just taking a year off and they're back. But it is weird, just like how quickly like the Sixers just fizzled out, and like the Paul George experiment has just been like awful. He just fell off a cliff. Like the Clippers got way ahead of that. They essentially dumped him at the perfect time, and now the Sixers are left holding the bag for like two like aging injury prone players. So it's going in the wrong direction. But I'm gonna choose to be optimistic. I think Embiid's got a bounce back year in him, where it's not a bounce back year, but I think he plays more than like 20 games. Hot take.
I have them 14th.
That's fine. I will not argue with you on that. I think that's
Um,
totally fine.
yeah, I don't. There's not much to say. But yeah, no, that article, going back to it, like yeah, it was a very interesting read. ChatGPT summed it up really well for me, and no, I'm just kidding. I did read some of it, most of it, and it is interesting where like Embiid, it feels like he had some demons and he had a really rough kind of entry into the NBA and always kind of fighting with how he was perceived and some really hard personal stuff. Obviously that happened to him and he was paranoid and there's this story of him like leaving money out to see if people would steal it from him and being very untrustworthy or not trusting. Uh, just long story short, it's interesting how when that guy is the centerpiece of your organization, like how maybe that seeps into the core and kind of, I don't want to say poisons, like he's a human and they're very real things that I empathize with. But if your number one guy isn't spiritually healthy, I guess, you can see how that can affect the group, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Sixers will need like their own episode probably at some point. But yeah, no, I think 14 is fine because there's probably a good chance that um, even if Embiid does play a lot this year, it might be one of those things where he might just look like he did last year, which is just like, not himself. So we'll see with that one. We're kind of into like the dumpster diving in the East now. Like the bottom five teams in the East are all just like, going to be in really rough shape next year. I mean, like next, you might have a team that we're holding out hope for. Who do you have at? I
11.
guess who do you have at 11 then? Yeah.
I think I have
Is
I
this
have
is we
I
have,
have a hot take.
okay. All right.
Super
Go
hot
for it.
take. I have the Washington Wizards at 11.
Wow. I have them at 12. I guess we're both cooling down on our Bulls. Not that we were like Bulls guys, but like, we've always like liked them a little bit. Um, cool off year, I guess. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've got the Wizards are next to me too. I have them at 12, but like, yeah. Yeah,
Who'd you
yeah,
have
give
at?
me your take. Give me your take. I had the Sixers 10, Pacers 11, Wizards 12.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Got it. Uh, I mean, I don't know. It's not like a huge hot take here, but I like the Frenchies Bilal and Sarr.
Yeah.
Um, I like
McCollum.
Kaishan George a lot. Is a very like sneaky guy that people don't talk about. The Canadian Kaishan George. Had a great end to last season. I don't know. I think he's like 21, super young. Anyway, um, just like a very solid young core. Obviously, they added Trey Johnson, who also, upon some
My
further
boy.
research, I'm like, I think I was very much.
He's so good. He's
I
so good.
think
He's so good.
I would take him fourth, maybe even third. I might take him over Ace Bailey. Not sixth where I had him last video, but yeah, I like Trey Johnson. I kind of started weighing in efficiency way more in my like data.
Somewhat important. You're
Somewhat
right that it's
more.
not. You're right. It's not everything in college, but like, but his 3-point shooting is just like
Because
ridiculous.
not to go on a tangent, but like I was weighing efficiency before, but then I kind of tried weighing in like hyper efficiency or guys that are like who have the 3-point shooting, the free throw, like the guys that
Mm.
have the really high efficiency, they get like a little bit of a bonus. Because I felt like Concanapple fell a lot. Then like the Devin Bookers, the Grady Dicks, they were weirdly kind of low. So I was like, okay, if you're at a 38+% shooter, or even a 35%, you kind of get like a progressive bonus. Anyway, Trey Johnson. Um, and we like kind of the veterans they added to kind of guide the ship a bit. CJ McCollum, and Chris Middleton.
Super weird like off-season move there with like the pool for McCollum trade. Super interesting. It's like kind of looking at it, it's like I'm a little surprised the Wizards didn't just keep Poole because he's like kind of on the same timeline with them. But I think like from like a maturity standpoint and like also just like take back some assets. I think it's a fine play, and I think they really could use the veteran leadership there. Like no shade to Poole, but he is kind of like I don't know. He's a little bit of like a shot chucker, whereas like
A
McCollum, like
little bit.
this is like right. But McCollum, we're talking about like the president of the CBA here. Like there's no greater class act in the league than McCollum, even though he kind of screwed some players over in the CBA negotiations clearly. But still, class act with McCollum. I think the team will like him. Same with Middleton. So yeah, I like them. I pretty much had all the same notes. Whereas like I think McCollum makes them a little bit better. We both like Bub Carrington. Bub Carrington's awesome. And then, yeah, I like Trey Johnson. That was kind of like my big note. I was like, I think Trey Johnson makes them better. So, yeah, I like them. They have to get better at some point. So it feels like they're ready to like get out of the debate of like, are they one of the two worst teams in the East every year? Maybe they move up to are they the third or fourth worst team in the East?
Yeah, no, but I don't know. I've heard on several podcasts with the guys that are more into like the finances and blah 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 that the front office seems to be making rational, smart money moves. You know, they're I don't know but they're doing the trade exceptions and they're saving the money
Yeah.
here and blah blah blah. So I think the ship is starting to kind of steer back on course. Um, and
It
like I
just, it
said,
just it just took Jordan selling the team and now they're oh no, sorry, he was Hornets. My bad. I don't know ball.
there might have been some ownership change or I don't know,
Yeah,
but
maybe. I don't know now.
we don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
but Kaishan George, I think, guys, Kaishan George, not a bad player. Um, anyway,
All right, let's rip through these last ones, see if we can kind of
yeah.
squeeze it in before the end of this sesh. Who do you have 12 then? Is this where you have the Bulls?
Yeah, I have the Bulls
Yeah.
12.
Yeah, I have the Bulls 13, so it'd also be next for me. I feel like they've been kind of like hovering the plane as of lately. I kind of think this is the year where the wheels fall off. I think this is the year where it's like the Vooch thing. It's like he's officially too old and just like can't keep up, or they trade him midway through the season and it just falls apart. Because I'm just like, I'm looking at this team. I'm like, this just isn't happening. I'm like, I didn't love their draft. I like Giddey. I think we're one of the only people that like the Giddey trade and the Giddey contract. I think both were good moves.
Yeah.
No one else seems to think so. But it's like I don't think like Giddy, White, and like her and Buzelis are like carrying this team to like anything. I just think they're clearly just like young and bad right now. And I think they'll kind of finally realize that this season.
I'm hot on their rookie Noah Song, but even I can see that he's still one of the
No
younger
sauce,
rookies.
no sauce, no juice.
I promise.
Sucks.
I promise the kid's good.
No aura.
Um, I liked his draft day outfit. You were hating on it, but I
No.
thought it
And
was
it's not even so much his outfit. It's just like he just like looks uncomfortable. He just like it's like the negative having aura. Like some people like ooze aura, and it's like wow, you feel it when you stand around them. He was like the opposite. He was like it
I
wasn't it wasn't it. He was giving off beta energy, if you will, at the draft.
I think that I don't know. Some guys kind of have that little bit of a weird energy. His
Oh
eyes are a bit
no,
bulging, and he
he
kind of has the high shoulders, and he wears the like leg sleeves that like don't.
he knew he should have been playing in the EuroLeague finals that
He's got his
day.
own weird
That
swagger.
was the
Yeah, the
vibe I
EuroLeague.
got. He knew he was in the wrong place that day.
It was the German league finals. It wasn't the
Yeah,
EuroLeague finals.
right, sure.
But evidently he might have like actually lost that for his team. They lost
Fair.
in a very close game five, which is like their game seven. Anyway, like you said, just looking at this team, it's so uninspiring. I like Buzelis, but I don't know if I see the path to all stardom uh,
Yeah, no.
that I once did. And I still really like Giddy, but yeah, Huerter, I think White is a bit overrated. Patrick
Yeah,
Williams, awful. Hassan,
God.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, the team's just not good. They're young, they're bad, which is good. They should be bad right now. It's what they want. They should be trying to get higher draft picks. Because they really shot themselves in the foot by just drafting like 12th overall for like the last like 6 years. So I
Yeah.
think they pull the plug now. I have them 13.
All right.
Um,
Let's see if we can do it in 5 minutes.
yeah, who do you have next? Because I'm like kind of ahead of you right now. Who's at 13 for you? At some point we need to catch up.
No, I
I
think
guess you no,
uh
because I'm ahead because you have the Sixers
I
lower.
have the
You must
Hornets. I have the
have
Hornets 13th,
yeah, and I've got them 14. So it's gonna be Hornets and then Nets essentially last.
and
Um,
I have Hornets, Sixers, Nets.
yeah, so like quick touch up on the Hornets. Yeah, they're bad every year. They're still bad. I find LaMelo to be like one of like the most uninspiring like superstars now. He's like the aura is awesome. He looks cool to watch. He is kind of becoming a guy where I'm like, I don't know if he can win basketball games. That's kind of where I'm getting with him. And like the roster like did just get worse. It's like they drafted Knipple. Like I think that was a nice pick actually. I know you're a little bit lower on him, but I think the shooting is a good addition. But like they did trade Mark Williams, which is like a little bit of like a plug pull on the season because like although he was injury prone, um, he didn't get it. He didn't have a ton of trade value, and like when he played, he was pretty good. And I think just like Mason Plumlee's going to start for them now there. I don't know. Bridges, horrible human. Brandon Miller, good player, but like also somebody where it's like I feel like he's always hurt. Like we just need to see more out of him. I don't know. I think they want to be bad. I think they are bad. They're always hurt. Like they're just bad. They're just a bad team.
Yeah, and their center position, Diabate, we love the hustle
True.
he brings, but it's not. I don't think a starting center. He's not a starting level player, so he's a bit undersized too. He's kind of more of a backup. Tijan Salon, the Frenchman, had a good summer league.
Sucks. Such a bad draft pick the other year.
I
He was
don't
taken
know.
sixth
I don't.
overall the year before.
All of a
We'll
sudden,
see. We'll
there are
see.
some sparks. I saw
Okay,
a Reddit
I'll trust
comment.
you on this. I'll trust you on this.
Saw a Reddit comment saying he was looking like young Giannis.
All right.
I didn't leave the comment.
Any other notes on the Hornets?
Um, I think on paper, like the starting lineup isn't horrible, but for all the points you mentioned, I think it's going to go pretty downhill. But it's like okay, LaMelo, Con, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges. It's like
Yeah.
they're four good players, but no bench, no center,
Yeah,
nobody.
and it feels like for too many years we've kind of like projected this team to be like a fringe playing team where we kind of
Yeah,
do the same thing where we're like, oh, we kind of like LaMelo and Miller and Bridges playing together, but they just like don't play well together. They don't play that much. So like this year is like the year where I'm like, I'm out. I'm just out.
yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, and
that
then yeah, then Brooklyn's last. I don't think we need to say anything about Brooklyn.
I literally didn't even
This is
have notes.
yeah, this is just the worst roster in the league by far.
I will
They got D'Lo
reaffirm.
back. That's fun.
Oh yeah, D'Lo's back.
That's fun. Yeah. But like that's it. Like Jesus, the team's horrible.
One like little note, I guess, is just like I'm big on this Nolan Trior kid. They drafted Yegor Denham eighth. They have D'Angelo Russell. It's like they have too many guards. So it's just going to be interesting to see how that kind of pans out. Obviously, Cam Thomas is still there. Um, so
God.
it'll be interesting to see how they manage, or more likely, I guess, mismanage this
Yeah.
roster this year. I reaffirm my love for Nolan Trior. I think he's future All-Star.
Yeah.
But
It is a shame that they have all these rookie guards and it's like we don't even really get to like see them that much now because it's gonna be like D'Lo and Cam Johnson just like hogging all the minutes and it's like, all right, if you're gonna be like bad and have young players, like at least let me like watch you to scout the young players. But I'm not gonna watch you just to see like D'Lo and Cam just like shot chuck the whole time. Like I'm just not doing that.
oh, and fucking
Oh, they do have
Michael
Cam
Porter
Johnson now though. I
Jr.
like Cam Johnson. Oh no,
Michael Porter Jr.
no, they have Michael Porter Jr. now. That was the
Yeah,
trade.
yeah. I've
Oh, I
also
hate that. I hate that. That was a note mess up by me. MPJ's wow, just like shot chuckers anonymous here. MPJ's had some serious podcast clips recently too. He's been cooking.
oh yeah. No,
He's been
MPJ has been
cooking.
has
He's
been
made for New York. We got a minute left, but yeah, they're gonna be really bad. Yeah, just like so many shot chuckers. The rookies are never gonna get to play. Um, that's pretty much it. I don't think we've got time to do the rundown. But I don't know. I think we did good for the most part.
I'll leave our lists in the description, but yeah, let's not send a new link. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe. Give us another 140 views. That was a nice surprise last video. And we'll do a West standings very soon, hopefully.
Yeah, stay tuned, y'all. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Thank you, guys.